What could an A.J. Brown trade realistically look like? To answer that, you have to start with the framing that several executives around the league are quietly using. A.J. Brown in 2026 feels a lot like Stefon Diggs in 2024. A proven high-end wide receiver, nearing 29 years old, expensive, productive, but coming off a season that didn't fully meet peak standards. Some visible tension with the organization, and a front office that's not slamming the door shut when asked about his future. That comparison matters because it gives us a blueprint. When the Buffalo Bills were fielding questions about Diggs at the 2024 Combine, General Manager Brandon Beane used carefully hedged language, saying he expected Diggs to be on the roster. Weeks later, Diggs was traded to Houston for a package centered on a second-round pick. The Bills initially hoped for a first. The market said otherwise. Now, fast forward to Philadelphia. Both Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman declined to guarantee Brown's presence in 2026. Sirianni said he can't guarantee anything past tomorrow. Roseman emphasized that the Eagles listen to offers on everything. In NFL front office language, that's not accidental. That's signaling availability without desperation. So, what does that mean for value? League executives appear split into three tiers of opinion. The lowest tier sees Brown as a depreciating asset. Those evaluators point to his age, turning 29 in June, and the physical nature of his game. Brown wins with strength, contested catches, and physical dominance. Historically, receivers with that style can experience sharp drop-offs around 29 or 30. One AFC executive referenced Deebo Samuel as a cautionary example, not identical players, but similar physical archetypes. If a front office fears that kind of decline is imminent, they're not paying first-round prices. That tier pegs Brown closer to a third-round pick, plus later-round swaps that could escalate in value, essentially a deal that might equal a second-rounder on paper once conditions are met. The middle tier sees a direct parallel to the Diggs deal. Buffalo hoped for a first, but ultimately settled for a second-rounder while packaging mid-round picks. That's likely the most realistic baseline. A clean second-round pick in 2026, possibly with minor pick balancing attached. No blockbuster, no massive haul, just solid draft capital for a premium but aging asset. Then there's the optimistic tier, the belief that a late first-round pick is possible, but only under specific conditions. The key detail, it would likely need to come from an AFC team. The Eagles would strongly prefer not to strengthen an NFC contender that they might face in the playoffs. That narrows the pool. Teams that fit that late first-round AFC contender profile include the Buffalo Bills, Houston Texans, Denver Broncos, and New England Patriots. All hold picks in the 26 to 31 range. All could argue that adding a true number, one receiver might elevate their quarterback and widen a Super Bowl window. But even then, it's not automatic. The acquiring team has to ask a difficult question. Is A.J. Brown the missing piece, or is he a luxury addition with long-term financial risk? Because the contract is a major component of this discussion. In 2024, Brown signed a 3-year, $96 million extension with $84 million guaranteed. He's under contract through 2029. For Philadelphia, that's stability. For a trading partner, that's obligation. You're not just trading for the player, you're absorbing major cap commitments for a player entering his age 29 season. That financial structure suppresses the market. A team giving up a first-round pick wants cost control, not premium salary. That's why second-round compensation feels more realistic. It balances talent level with financial exposure. Then there's the personality variable. Brown is passionate, emotional, and competitive. But last season featured visible sideline frustrations and subtle public comments about usage and targets. Fair or not, front offices weigh those dynamics heavily. An acquiring team needs internal advocates, coaches or executives who believe they can maximize Brown's strengths and manage his temperament. Interestingly, Brown's former wide receivers coach in Tennessee, Rob Moore, is now with the Carolina Panthers. In theory, that kind of connection could facilitate comfort. In practice, Carolina doesn't appear positioned to make a major wide receiver splash after recent draft investments. Still, it highlights how relationships inside buildings matter in trade scenarios. Another critical factor shaping the market is the draft itself. This year's wide receiver class is widely regarded as deep at the top. As many as 5 or 6 receivers could land in the first round. That matters enormously. If you're a team sitting at pick 28, you must ask, do I give up this pick and take on a $96 million contract for a 29-year-old receiver, or do I draft a 22-year-old wideout on a 5-year rookie deal? That rookie contract flexibility can outweigh the certainty of a veteran star. This is why patience may be required if Philadelphia truly wants a second-rounder or better. The draft board must fall a certain way. A team must miss out on its preferred prospect, or a contender must decide that proven production outweighs rookie upside. Timing also matters strategically. If Brown is traded, it likely happens before or during the 2026 draft. Teams prefer moving 2026 picks over 2027 picks, especially with 2027 projected to be a deeper class. Executives are reportedly reluctant to part with future premium assets in what they believe could be a stronger draft year. So if a deal materializes, expect it to center on 2026 selections. From Philadelphia's perspective, the calculus is layered. On one hand, Brown remains one of the league's most physically dominant receivers. He's produced at an all-pro level from 2022 to 2024. Trading him could weaken the offense significantly and remove a safety valve for Jalen Hurts. On the other hand, the Eagles have historically been aggressive and unemotional in roster building. If they sense that Brown's value might decline within 12 to 18 months, moving him now could be a proactive decision rather than a reactive one. And that brings us back to the Diggs parallel. Buffalo moved Diggs before a full collapse in value. They didn't wait for the market to crater. They absorbed criticism but gained draft flexibility. Philadelphia may be evaluating a similar window. Ultimately, the most realistic outcome is this. If a team offers a clean second-round pick in 2026, especially a high second, the Eagles would strongly consider it. If an AFC contender becomes aggressive and dangles a late first-rounder, that could accelerate things quickly. If offers stall in the third-round range, Brown likely stays, and this becomes off-season noise rather than a transaction. There is no desperation here, only optionality. The Eagles are not forced sellers. Brown is under contract. They can afford patience. But the door is open. And in the NFL, once a door opens publicly at the combine, conversations tend to follow privately. So what could an A.J. Brown trade look like? Most likely, a second-round pick in 2026, possibly with minor pick swaps. Best case scenario for Philadelphia, a late first-rounder from an AFC contender. Worst case realistic outcome, third-round value with conditions. And the deciding variable won't just be talent. It will be age curves, contract math, locker room projection, draft depth, and which general manager believes Brown is the piece that tips a championship window wide open. That's why this isn't a simple yes or no situation. It's a leverage game, and it may take patience.